What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Check Swing Podcast with myself, and of course, the brains and brawn of the situation, the man that puts it all together, the man that makes it all work. My man, who's blocking out the camera from the paparazzi. My man, Coach Santa, who's down in. There it is.
Baltimore, having big fun.
I couldn't find it. I couldn't find it at first, but I got it. Let's do it again. My man, Coach Santa, who's down in
Baltimore, having big fun.
down in Baltimore, having big fun. How long you been in Baltimore now?
Let's see. I was improperly removed from my last job in 21. So yeah, 4 years. It'll be 5 years in July.
Wow, you're right. You are right, because we were coaching together at the place, and we started coaching together in 2020 because that was the pandemic.
Right?
And the next year, you left.
Yes.
You left us mid-season.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did.
No, I did not. I
It was
left.
It was closer to the end of the season, right?
No. When I left, the organization had changed from the one name to the new name.
Correct.
I was assigned, you and I were assigned a team, and then they decided the first weekend that they were going to merge the teams, and that was it.
So I remember it a little differently.
Of course you do.
I remember it a little differently. So we were coaching a team,
Right,
and there were two teams in our age group.
right.
And you might be right. I'm not saying you're wrong, but I'm just saying I remember that after you left, then they decided to merge the teams.
So that conversation was happening in the middle of one of our games.
Okay. I wasn't privy to that conversation. But what I do remember is now this I do remember. It was a weekend when you left. Well, I don't know if it was a weekend, but we were in the middle of a tournament when you left, or middle of a showcase, or whatever it might be when you left. And the reason I know that is because you coached the one day, and then you were on the road the next, and I was out there the next day coaching, and that was like our last game as a team. And I remember this because we played against a guy that coached the team from Westchester. And I ended up talking to him because of our Westchester connection.
Mhm.
And yeah, that's just how I remember it. I mean, that's not what the show's about, but that's just what I remember. Like, I could be misremembering. I could have alternate facts. Very possible I have alternate facts.
And you know what? I think I'm going to lean towards you being right, because I do remember when we were moving, it was warm.
Oh yeah.
And because I remember we put the house on the market on a Wednesday at 11 a.m. and we got an offer by 1 p.m. and the guy wanted us out in 2 weeks. That's what it was. So you are correct.
I do remember. Yes, I remember you. Yes, I do remember that.
Yeah.
I remember that. Yeah, that hot Holmes was selling like hotcakes at the time. At the time. Little known fact. I put my family's business out there. When we went to get this house, they had an open house scheduled the weekend after we saw the house.
Okay.
And we basically had to make this offer because we knew if it goes to the open house, we were going to get outbid.
Right.
We had to make an offer that they wanted, so they would cancel the open house.
Yeah, that was strategery at work.
Absolutely, it absolutely was. Absolutely was. So I'm going to try to do that when we end up selling this. I'm going to try to do that. But yes, welcome back to Check Swing Podcast. That's a little look into our personal lives that y'all didn't ask for and y'all didn't need, but we gave it to you anyway because that's what we do. We just kind of do things on this show. But for those that might just be getting here for the first time, we are a sports talk podcast from the perspective of two baseball coaches, but we don't just talk baseball. When we talk baseball, we probably talk a little more strategery when we talk baseball. But any other sport we talk about, we talk from the fans' perspective. We talk about it as fans. And today we have just a couple of things we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about the Eagles. We're going to talk about the Phillies. And then we're going to get into some fun. Are you stumping me today, Coach? I forgot to ask you that earlier.
Yes, sir.
He's stumping me today. So we're going to have some fun. We got some videos for you to enjoy. But I want to get right off into it. And I don't have my notes up, but I want to talk about the Phillies and some of the moves that they made and some of the things that we've been hearing over these last, couple days, really. I can't even say it's been a week. Well, I guess they signed Schwarber last week. They re-signed him last week. But they've made some more moves since then. And Miguel, you put today's show together, so I'm going to allow you to take the opportunity to introduce this Phillies topic the way you would like. I'm putting you on the spot. I'm sorry.
I mean, no, you're fine. You're fine. I mean, the best way I can probably start it off is just saying the Phillies' outlook for 2026 looking a little different. I'll start off by saying this. I actually like the signings that the Phillies made. I know people were kind of up in the air about the shorter money and as far as like the 5 years and the 150 or whatever. And I've been kind of, I guess you can say, kind of a hard ass on Schwarber, especially the first couple of years. But I've seen the improvement. He's always had good plate discipline. It was just a swing and miss rate was just over the top. It was too high. And not coming through in the playoffs and things like that. Although I can't put it on him for this past playoff. Like last year, it was Harper and Castellanos that were hitting in the playoffs and not Schwarber. This year, it was really just Schwarber. And Harper, I think he came on a little bit later, and then Casty's just whatever the hell he is. So the three signings. One is actually Yoniel Currit, who is from the Tampa Bay Rays.
Yeah, tell me about this guy. I don't know. I know Garcia. I don't know the other two guys. So you gotta tell me about these guys. Convince me that these were the guys that we needed.
So Currit is a bit of a conundrum. I would say he's kind of he's like a right-handed Alvarado at the beginning of his career. He's got great stuff.
He's a bullpen. He's a pitcher. He's a bullpen.
Right, but he was a starter. The problem is that at every level, when he started off at every level, he struggles. He struggles with commands, that discipline, and he kind of rights the ship. But recently, he's been having more success out of the bullpen. I think he's like a 6'3", 6'4" big guy, has a lot of power stuff, fastball, cut fastball, two-seam, four-seam. He's got electric stuff, so they think that it'll kind of translate to being a really good bullpen arm. The other guy, Brad Keller, who they just got from the Cubs, he was on the Cubs. He had like a 2.07 ERA. He was great out of the bullpen, and that's saying a lot pitching in Chicago because pitching in the Midwest is not easy. If you look at his stat sheet, he's been around for like maybe 6 or 7 years or 7 or 8 years. He started out as a starter and it just wasn't working. And some teams will I think the Phillies did this with a couple pitchers. I think that when the Phillies, remember a pitcher named Ryan Madson?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So remember in the very beginning of his career, he was a starter and he would always have, when he went through the lineup once, maybe twice, he was okay. But that third time, he would just get torn up. And then after a while, it was only one time and he was done. But his success wound up being out of the bullpen. And sometimes it's just the way it is. So Keller was more successful out of the bullpen. And last year, I think in 70 some appearances, he had like 79 Ks. So he has a good swing and miss stuff.
Let me ask you this. Who are these two arms replacing in the bullpen from last year?
That's a good question.
Well, I guess
Oh,
that might be a question for another time.
no. You're replacing the famous or the infamous Jordan Romano, who just signed with the freaking Angels. Um,
A
for
contender on him, huh?
right, yeah, and I don't think anybody else is being replaced. Well, we still haven't signed a replacement for Ranger, so he's still a free agent. Um, and Curate could probably fill in that role if he can get his stuff together. But I don't know that they plan on the way it sounded like they're not going to use him as a starter. They want to focus on him being in the bullpen. So
Okay. Now, I've heard two pronunciations of his name. All throughout his time playing in the major leagues, I've heard Adolis Garcia. Someone on the radio whose father was on the radio in Philly, so you could just I'm giving that to you so you know what I'm talking about. He said his name is Adolis Garcia. Are any of those right?
Adderley sounds like the whitest way to say it. So I'm gonna say no. His full name is Jose Adolis Garcia Arieta. Or
Garcia ain't even his last name, his whole last name. Huh?
right, and in most cases, like when you look at Latin players, they when their names are Americanized, it's just first name and last name. But remember, in Spanish culture, you usually take on, I believe, the maiden name of the person that marries in. So like technically my name would be my full name would be Miguel Abel Santa Flores because it's my father's name and my mother's maiden name.
See, not only do we talk sports, but we give you a lesson in culture too.
There you go.
Give you a lesson in culture because I'm sure there's some people that are watching us right now that did not know that. Guarantee. Guarantee. Um, Adolis Garcia. They say he's replacing Castellanos, which Castellanos, correct me if I'm wrong, I haven't done the research, I haven't done my homework. Castellanos technically is not a free agent.
He's not.
So, and they're talking about replacing him. So he's as good as going. So it's got to be a trade because I mean, it's not the NFL. You know, that money's guaranteed, right? They can't just cut him. I mean, I guess they could just cut him, but they still got to pay him.
Right. I believe there are clauses to it, and I'm not sure what the clause would be in his case. But he can actually be cut. He can be released, or the popular term is DFA'd, which means designated for assignment or reassignment, which most ball players will decline because they're not going to the minor leagues. Which would then mean they can go through like a waiver period, and then after the waiver period, so waiver period meaning um, a player could be released, and then everybody would have an option to sign that player for the money that they make. They're not going to sign him for the money that he makes because he's actually owed $20 million this year. So Once he passes through that whole waiver period and all 32 teams say we don't like that guy anymore, then the Phillies would either accept the assignment to go to the minor leagues or be just given his outright release.
without the Phillies being on the hook for the money.
No, the Phillies would be on the hook for the money legally because last year
So they're on the hook for the money regardless, unless they just trade him.
unless they trade him. But if they trade him, they're going to have to pay a chunk of that money because I can't see anybody saying, "Hey, we'll take on this $20 million salary." So they may say, "Okay, well, we'll take on half if you take on half," yada yada yada. But chances are they're either going to have to keep that money on the payroll, pay him, or hopefully find a suitor that will take on. I don't see why you couldn't package him with a trade, preferably Aaron Nola.
We
So
just going
that's
to get rid of all the people that nobody's going to want because they ain't. Well,
is it,
Casty had a decent year. He had a decent year. He's a liability in the outfield, but Castellanos with his time here in Philadelphia, really he had some big moments. I mean, he's the only player on the Phillies whose name is on the list of two, and the other name on that list is Reggie Jackson, and it's a positive list. He's had his moment. He had his big moment. He wasn't the greatest player, but he had big moments. He had moments in the playoffs. He had moments in regular season big games. He's come through in the clutch quite a few times. But I don't think it's consistent enough for the team to want to keep him around. Plus, all the issues towards the end of the year when Topper was taking him out for defensive purposes. And he didn't like that. There was a whole thing about that. So, and we knew that Goose said he knew that. Just want to put that out there. He knew that about the. I'm going to assume it's about the names and stuff. What was I saying? See, I always do that. I do that to myself all the time. Anyway, I'll just start. Maybe it'll come back to me. When Topper would take him out, there was a whole big blow up and the whole thing. Like, I know what I was going to say. When Topper was re-signed right there after the season was over, you and I both said on here that means Castellanos is obviously gone.
but
And they're moving because Dombrowski was on. I mean, they basically said, yeah, he's replacing Castellanos, and Castellanos is still on the team, contracted.
right, but here, Casty did this to himself for a couple of reasons. Whatever's going on between him and Topper, I don't understand, and you know, I mean, I do to a degree, but he's so passive aggressive. You know what I mean? He's like he does that Donovan McNabb stuff. Like, I think someone asked him about, well, have you had a conversation with Topper? And he's like, well, yeah, we talk about everything. It's like, be specific. And then he'll say something to the effect of, you know, there are many conversations that are happening with and without me, and but I don't know what he thinks. It's like it's stuff like that, and then we and I've always said this: once you start talking about the fans, especially in Philadelphia, you are done. When you know say what you want about Harper, but he's always like praising the fans, and even when they boo him, say, "Oh, we deserve it," stuff like that. But then when you come out and say, "Well, it's hard to play when they boo," and it's like you kind of have that in the back of your mind. It's like, dude, you're making $20 million a year. Like, so what? That should be blocked out of your brain.
Yeah, you say something like that in Philly, you're considered weak. Philadelphians will consider you weak if you start talking about us as the fan base,
Right.
because we feel like, okay, so let me just break this down for some people. If you go to a game, right, and you're sitting close enough to heckle one of the players, they'll more than likely ignore you. Doesn't mean they're not hearing you, but they will probably not react. They will probably not, say anything back. They will not acknowledge you. But yet, if you turn around and say something in the media about the fan base saying something to you, I'm gonna just put it like this. Not everybody in Philly is tough, right? Not everybody's a tough guy in Philly. But everybody in Philly think they gangster. And I don't mean that in a way of they think they walk around as a thug. I mean that in the sense of you as the professional athlete, you're so big and bad. You're not that tough if you're worrying about me saying something to you. You are a little if you react to the fans.
For the lip readers out there.
The lip readers out there, you know what I said. You know what I said. But with that being said, we're going to wrap this part of it up real quick. Cassidy's pretty much as good as gone. We don't know where he'll end up or what the circumstances may be behind him not playing in a Phillies uniform next year. But what I will say is this: I'm assuming I'm looking at the names here. The signing of Currit, Keller, and Garcia is probably less than what Castellanos was going to make, right? So you kind of get three for the price of one there. I'm just spitballing here. I don't know this for a fact. This
So
is
so so Brad Keller was signed 2 years for 22 million, so he's 11 million. And
Mhm.
Garcia is 1 year for 10 million. So you literally are a million over. And Currid is on his minor league contract, his minor league deal. So he's
So
less than a million.
like $50,000.
More like 80, but yeah. Um, so yeah, I think they're either banking on somebody taking on Casty's money in the trade or not paying as much. And the thing about Garcia, like he literally was the Texas Rangers in that World Series in 2023. Between the home runs that he hit,
Yeah.
he was clutch in the postseason. He gave that. I
The only
watched
thing
that.
he didn't do was win the MVP.
Say again.
So the only thing he didn't do was win the MVP.
Right, and it was because he came on late. You know what I mean? But in the postseason, couldn't throw nothing by that dude. And then on top of that, I think it was the ALCS where he got hit after he hit a home run and was about to take on the entire Houston Astros. So it's like
Fiery
you know,
guy.
fiery guy, and like he's perfect for this town. He's not passive aggressive. Like he's like,
He's perfect for this town. I agree with you there.
mhm.
Is he perfect for this team? And the only reason let me give you the reasoning behind that. The most fire this team probably has had over the last 4 or 5 years was when Reese Hoskins slammed that bat after the home run versus the Braves in the playoffs. I was actually at that game, by the way. Um, yeah, we don't have any fiery guys on this team. Will that? I mean, I want to believe that will boost the team. That will put a fire under the team. That will make the team more exciting. But as good as this Phillies team is and can be, they seem pretty conservative.
I agree.
Very conservative. And it's almost like they kind of position themselves away from the fiery stuff.
Mhm.
Will that mesh in this clubhouse?
I don't see why it wouldn't, and I think, like you said, it's needed. Plus, the outfield right now would look like Garcia and Wright, and they're finally committing to having Justin Crawford called up. Looks like he's going to be your everyday center fielder, so you're going to have a youth movement happening. Um, they have Brad Marsh penciled in left field. He's
But before you continue, let me add this to what you're saying because I don't want you to miss this part of it. They have Brandon Marsh penciled in left field, but they also have him platooning with
right.
Otto Kemp. Why do we have to have a platoon in the outfield? Now, some people are not going to like what I'm about to say, but I feel it's the truth. I've played just about every position on the baseball field growing up. The only position I did not like was first base. Okay. I didn't like first base. And the only reason I'll get to that later. To me, and I didn't play outfield at a high level. I played outfield in high school. I played outfield in college a little bit till I hurt my arm and came back in to play second base. Outfield is one of the easiest positions to play in baseball, in my opinion. In my opinion. Because one, the ball doesn't get thrown to you and you have to make certain plays. All you have to do is catch the ball and throw the ball. That's really all you have to do in the outfield. You got to track the ball down. You got to be able to read the ball and stuff like that. But if you're an outfielder that has played outfield your entire life, that's second nature. So I really don't understand why the Phillies, as good as they are supposed to be, still right now it's off season and you're going into a season planning to platoon at an outfield position. I don't understand. I just can't understand that. I really don't. Help me out, please. Help me out, Miguel. I
It's
mean,
it,
are you
it's
are
it,
you with me on that, or am I crazy?
I mean, I think with the platoons work. It depends on your staff. It depends on the players that you have on your team. Because remember, if you remember correctly, in '93 when the Phillies went to the World Series, they had three platoons. They platooned in right field with Jim Eisenreich and Wes Chamberlain. They platooned in left field with Milt Thompson and Pete Incaviglia, and they platooned at second base with Mickey Morandini and Mariano Duncan. I'm not saying that I'm not the biggest fan of platoons per se, but Marsh is horrible against lefties. So you can't possibly. And granted, he goes through streaks where I think he in month of August he was tearing it up, and then but we knew that in the playoffs he would suck again. So it's like but then you have Harper. You're not going to platoon Harper. You're not going to platoon Schwarber. It depends on the players that you have, and this is what they have. You know what I mean?
So let me counterpoint in a sense to what you just said about the '93 team because you're absolutely right. That '93 team, I think, I don't remember, and social media wasn't around then, and the sports talk wasn't as deep as it is now. But I'm going to assume the Phillies went into that season in '93 knowing that they were going to be platooning in the outfield, right?
Mhm.
I think I'm safe to assume that.
Yeah,
But if you remember, and I know you do, that team wasn't supposed to be any good.
right.
They overachieved.
Hmm.
This Phillies team is supposed to be good. And I don't pay as much attention to other teams as I once did. But I'll just ask it this way. I'll say it and ask it in this way. Who was in the World Series? It was the Dodgers and who would the Dodgers play in the World Series this year? Oh, I can't remember. It was the Blue Jays. I just had it in my head. It was the Blue
Blue
Jays.
Jays.
And I honestly don't know. That's what I'm asking. Did either one of those teams platoon at any position? Now, I don't feel like they did. They may have, but I don't feel like they did. I feel like the Dodgers did not. The Dodgers are stacked, so they don't have to. But the Blue Jays, I don't. I'd have to have somebody that pays attention to the Blue Jays. I don't think
I
they
want
do.
to no. I want to say they both had a platoon, one or two, but not like the '93 Phillies did. But
Now,
I,
my question to what you're saying is, was that platoon due to the fact that you have another good bat that you might need in your lineup, or was it to cover up a weakness that you have in your defense? Because I feel like the
I think
Phillies are doing it to cover well, not a weakness anymore, but that Casty was the weakness, right? But with Marsh, it's to cover up a weakness at the plate.
Mhm.
Whereas I'm more confident with Marsh in the outfield than I am with Kemp in the outfield. Not that Kemp is bad, but I think Marsh is a little faster. I don't know who has the stronger arm, but Marsh is a little faster. He can cover some ground. Out there with Justin Crawford, they probably cover a lot of ground. I don't know what Garcia's speed is like, but he's been playing the outfield forever. I think he's a decent speed enough to cover some area. Um,
that's the reason why I like the signing of Garcia because, and I can't remember what the stat is called, but I believe it's runs saved or whatever, what the case may be. So basically, how many times has a ball been hit to the outfielder and they threw home and either the runner was out or the runner did not advance, right? And I believe he was at an 8, whereas Castellanos was at a -3.
who
So
was what was the first number?
the first number was 8. So basically,
That was
over. So it's
Marsh
almost like that.
or Garcia.
Garcia was the larger number
Okay.
in the positive. It's like that WAR number, like wins above replacement or whatever.
Yeah. I just didn't know if you were talking about Marsh or Garcia, right? Just about that stat.
No, Garcia and Wright. I was talking about Garcia and Wright. So defensively, it's an upgrade. He's got a stronger arm. Like you'll see if you ever just look at highlights from for like a minute or two, then you'll see it. Like he's got a bullet. He's got a hell of an arm. Speed wise, he's maybe like a percentage or two higher. He does have a big swing and miss rate because he wants to hit, and some of it is that energetic. But based on his WAR stats in 21, 22, 23, it was 3.9, 3.7, 4.5. He took a dip in 24. Last year he was at 2.7. Cassie's been like at 0 or negative the last 3 or 4 years. So, I'm not big on those type of stats, but this is the only time where I actually believe, like I see what they're talking about. Like having him on the field does not help this team. Um, Having him at the plate 1 or 2 weeks out of the month, he's just not there. He's just not there. And but I think mentally he just couldn't handle the pressure of this city, and that's where the passive aggressiveness is now coming, and now we'll start
It's
to
a
see it.
shame because he's a good player.
Dude, and they talked about what he did with Kirkering at the end of that playoff game.
What did he do?
So at the end of the playoff, because everybody Kirkering, he threw home when he should have threw the first, it would have ended the inning. Instead, it lost the game. And Kirkering is just there with his head bowed, and he's like, sulking. Casty ran into the outfield and just stood next to him and made sure that he did not walk back to the dugout alone. And that, say what you want about him. I thought, that's a great teammate, right? That's what you want out of your teammates. You want and it's so hard to talk about because as a coach, I got to admit, like this was probably the most challenging baseball that I've coached the last 2 years because I've seen players like literally like just openly berate their teammates. And and these were teammates that made worse errors than this person, and it's sad and it's also sickening. You know what I mean? As a coach to see it.
Mhm.
Um, So to see that from a major league player, I just think it's a great example of like how you're supposed to be a good teammate, in spite of the stuff that I witnessed, and it's
I
crazy.
got you. Well, let's move on to the Eagles. It's time to talk about the Eagles. We spent entirely too much time on baseball, being that they're not even in season right now, and we can't even like turn on the game and say, "Hey, they're winning right now." They just signed three people, and we had actually four if you count Schwarber. And I will say this: I just want to get this off my chest again. At this point, like as bad as I want them to re-sign Ranger, I know he's probably gone, but as bad as I want them to re-sign Ranger, it's a must right now, in my opinion, to sign JT
JT.
Realmuto. Got to sign JT Realmuto. If
Well,
you don't sign JT Realmuto, it will affect your pitching staff as well as whatever catcher you put back there,
well,
Marshall, Stubbs, or whatever it may be.
right, and there is an offer on the table. They're waiting for his people to come back, and it sounds like it's going to be like a 2-year deal. Um, and I don't know what the money. I think it was between like 10 to 15 million. But I agree. I think I I would hope that they would re-sign JT and either trade for or find his replacement. So it's kind of like a transition,
Right.
you know, because they've been talking about
He
this.
traded his replacement a few years. Was it for him?
Yeah, Alfaro, Jorge
For him?
Alfaro, who at the time I was actually upset because they traded him and a kid named Sixto Lescano. And I
Sixto.
think
It was Sanchez, wasn't it?
Sixto Sanchez. I'm thinking of somebody from the 80s. Yeah, Sixto Sanchez. I was like, no, you can't trade that dude. He blew his arm out. He's on his way out of the major leagues. And Alfaro, he's had a mediocre career, but he's been on like 4 teams in the last like 3 years. So I think we won that trade.
Yeah, I would say. I would say. Let's talk Eagles. Let's take it to the Eagles real quick. The Eagles.
Well, hold on. Before we do that, can we summon all the Cowboys fans to like pay attention and get ready for the lesson that's about to be taught here?
I yeah, sure. I don't know how to do that, but I saw somebody post something about the Cowboys being eliminated from the playoffs. But that's not true, right? That's
No,
technically
it's,
not
it's
true.
not. No, no.
Okay. It's not true because if Eagles lose out and the Cowboys win out, Cowboys win the NFC East
Right.
because of the tie. Like the Eagles got into the playoffs that time because of the tie.
Right.
And I'm like waiting for that to bite us in the booyang, but I'm like, please don't let it be this year with the Cowboys having the tie. Please don't let it be this year. Please. Um, they play the Commanders this weekend on Saturday, not on Sunday. No Jaden Daniels, and no Zach Ertz. Um, but let's talk more about Sunday real quick before we get into Saturday. Sunday, they beat the Raiders at home on a very cold day. It just snowed. 31-0, kept the Raiders to under 70, under 100 total yards. First of all, that's amazing in the NFL to keep any team under 100 yards, right? But my question to everybody that's within the sound of my voice, and especially you, Miguel, are the Eagles back on track, or was it just the Raiders? That's the question.
So here's the.
Big piece of me that's like, well, it was just the Raiders.
Yeah, but here was the thing. Like the Cowboys faced just the Vikings, and look what happened.
Yeah, and we faced just the Giants, and what happened.
Right.
So
So
these things happen. Yes.
I was watching something. They did it was a side by side of an NFL show with Rex Ryan on it. And it was funny how when the Cowboys played the Raiders and beat them, how they were talking about, oh man, the Cowboys defense was this, and they look, we know it's the Raiders, but it's this and that. But then when they talked about the Eagles, it's like, it's the Raiders. You know what I mean? But it's like I know it's the Raiders later in the season versus the beginning of the season. But the Eagles did something that they haven't done in a while, and is win convincingly. So I think that's what you needed. You needed a convincing win. You know what I mean? Um,
Yeah.
which is what we haven't had. Like, you need those. You need those convincing victories to say, okay, this is what it is. And the Eagles did do some things different. Like I think Jalen was under center like 20 or 30% more than he's been all season. Um,
They put
and right,
AJ on emotion quite a bit.
we put him right, which is like the things that we've been talking about that they should have been doing since the beginning of this year. It's like now they're figuring it out. I mean, I guess better late than never, but whatever. Um, but I'm not saying like, and I'm not gloating to say, oh my God, this is a Super Bowl, da 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 da. But you needed a convincing win. And I think that's what this was. And you need another one on Saturday, because you win Saturday, you win the division. So that ends any of the Eagles Cowboys talk, because again, they do their thing, win 3, think they're going to win the Super Bowl, and they lose 2. So it's a typical December for Dallas. So
Yeah,
that's
and I will admit, as much as I don't want to, the Cowboys kind of they improved during the season. They did. Um, I thought, and you remember, I thought they were going to be better than they were.
mhm.
I knew the defense was kind of, you know,
Ishtar.
kind of suspect, kind of questionable.
Mhm.
But I thought the offense could kind of, overcome that in a sense. But the defense ended up being a little better than
It
we
got better. It
um
got better.
the fact that Dak was the year before he got hurt was, second in the running for MVP. And coming back to that offense. No, come on, man. I'm trying to explain something. You ain't gotta do me like that. You ain't gotta do me like that.
I'm doing the Cowboys like that, not you, sir.
No, I'm just explaining why I thought maybe the Cowboys would be a little better than people thought, and I still think they were better than people thought they would be.
Mhm.
Um, but I don't see them making the playoffs. I see the Eagles winning at least one of these next 3 games.
Mhm.
Crazy thing is they're playing the Commanders, which I'm not even going to say is always a tough game, but it's a division battle, right?
Mhm.
So you just kind of never know with a division battle. I know what our expectations are. Then they play the Bills, who I don't even know if they'll have something to play for. I don't know. We'll have something to play for. We might still be able to play for that 3 seed,
Mhm.
um, or we may not. I'm not sure. We may not be it. We may have the 3 seed locked and might still be playing for the 2 or the 1, depending on what the Rams and the Packers do. Um, but with that being said, let me get back to our script. The Eagles could be the first back-to-back champions of the NFC East. First time in 18 years, 20 years, something like that,
Since
since the
the,
Andy Donovan McNabb days.
Mhm.
And in that time, they have 2 Super Bowls and think they have 2 Super Bowls and didn't win back-to-back NFC East titles. Um, and I will answer my question about was it are they back on track or was it just the Raiders? I agree with you that the they needed a game like this, right? It could be the game that kind of gets the wheels back moving, gives them a little bit of confidence they need. Because no matter who you play, when you see yourself play well, it gives you a little bit of confidence to go out there and do what you do. Um, I do believe that the fact that under 100 total yards, a shutout, a lot of that to me has to do with the fact that they were playing the Raiders. The Raiders are 2-11, 2-12, whatever they are. And the funny thing about it is they beat the best team or second best team in the AFC this year, early in the season. They beat the Patriots. I think the Patriots second best team. I think Denver's the best team in the AFC, and Patriots second best. One is vice versa. One of them. And I remember when that happened, I was like, "Ooh, the Raiders might actually have something. Maybe they got Geno Smith. Then maybe Geno Smith got a little magic left in him. Not so much.
That
Not
was
so much.
That's Chip Kelly's fault.
And they
That's
got
why
rid of him too, didn't they?
he got fired like 2 weeks ago.
They got rid of Chip Kelly. That's amazing how a person that was considered like an offensive guru now can't keep a job in football. Right? Maybe he should have stayed at Ohio State. Just won a national championship with Ohio State as the offensive coordinator. Then he went to the Raiders. I mean, I guess money talks. But
Biggest con man ever.
hey, he had us fooled though. Philadelphia was excited to when Chip Kelly was first comes. Oh man, he's gonna innovate this offense. I mean, because we had Shady, we had Vic, we had Deshaun, we had Macklin. Was it Selleck or was it Ertz? Was
No,
Selleck?
Selleck. Actually, it was Selleck. Right, Selleck.
Selleck and then Ertz came a little later. But like when you think about it, with those weapons and what Chip Kelly was doing in college coming into the NFL, he really could have did some damage. But the problem with Chip Kelly was he wanted to be the biggest name in the room. So he got rid of all the big names. Y'all know the story. Y'all know what happened. Y'all was there. But like we said, the Eagles could win the NFC East this weekend on Saturday where they win. Now, Miguel has put in in our notes the scenarios in which the Eagles can win the NFC East title. Number one, the Eagles win. You win the NFC East title. Boom. Or number two, Dallas loses and the Eagles win the NFC East title. But here's the crazy one. You could probably make a lot of money in Vegas if this happens. Eagles tie and Dallas ties.
That's crazy.
I kind of want to put some money on that.
Oh god!
If the Eagles were not playing the Commanders, if they were playing like I don't know the Chiefs or maybe they play the Bills next week, or maybe like who I don't know, maybe Tampa Bay, 49ers or something, I might put the money on the Eagles. I'm just $2, which probably win me like 20,000. I will put some money on it. I don't know I don't know who Cowboys play this weekend. I really don't care.
They play the Chargers.
Go Justin Herbert. Go Justin Abear. But yeah, so the Eagles win, they win the NFC East title. Cowboys lose, Eagles win the NFC East title. Eagles tie and Cowboys tie, Eagles win the NFC East title. The only way Dallas stays alive is if the Eagles lose and they win. Dallas has to win out. Eagles have to win one. They're in the driver's seat. There was one other thing I wanted to say, and it just slipped my mind that fast. It'll probably come back to me when I'm getting stumped. But I know what I wanted to say. I was thinking about this yesterday, and we'll get your videos together, Miguel, because we'll go into the videos after this. I was thinking about when I drive home yesterday. I drive, and I'm in my own thoughts and stuff like that while listening to the radio. And I was thinking about the NFC East title. And I was thinking like people really harp on the NFC East title or the division titles in football. And I was thinking about I'm like why are the other sports not so big on division titles like they are in football? Like football is like huge on division titles. Baseball is probably the second biggest sport into division titles, right? Not so much now as you can get into the playoffs by not winning the division title, but Before in baseball, you had to win a division title to get into the playoffs. It's kind of changed since then. So like winning the division title in baseball is not that big a deal anymore to me. But basketball and hockey, division title don't mean nothing in basketball. Like nobody cares about a division title in basketball. I've never heard any team in basketball or hockey celebrate division title. Never. I've never heard a basketball team or a hockey team during a broadcast called like the defending what's it in basketball Atlantic Division champions. The Sixers are an Atlantic Division. I think that's what it's still called. They're the defending Atlantic Division. Nobody ever says that. Like they'll say they're the defending AFC East champions. They're the defending NL East champions. Nobody and hockey. I'm not really sure. Somebody might be able to help me out because I know hockey changed their name because they used to have Campbell's Conference and the Wales like they. I think they're Atlantic, but I'm not sure.
They call it the Atlantic Division is now called like the Metropolitan Division.
Is that what the Flyers are in?
Yeah, that's what the Flyers are in.
Yeah, see, they changed the names on them so much
Yeah.
because there was like the Wales Conference, the Campbell's Conference. I don't even know who these people are. I thought Campbell's had something to do with soup when they were talking about that. And I mean, I was younger, so I didn't know. So I just think it's interesting how a division title is so big in football, almost as big in baseball, but in hockey and basketball, not big at all. Like they're not even mentioned. Like standings wise, they're not even. They don't even say, yeah, they're
Right.
in third place in the Atlantic. Like nobody. It's always Eastern Conference West. That's it.
I would say that for all sports though, like because now the mantra is, hey, if you win and you're in, anything can happen. So that's been like the mantra. But
Yeah,
I think that's been the case, especially since gambling has been legal, because the division titles don't really matter. You know what I mean? It's like
yeah.
it's really about momentum, especially like we always talk about it in baseball. It's the
When did that happen though? When did it
when,
happen that division titles just were a thing of like they
when you
wasn't
added more teams to the playoffs. I would argue as far back as '95 when baseball added the wild card.
well, I think so. That's what I was kind of alluding to earlier. I think that did kill it in baseball, but you still hear it today talking about the division. Football, they've added teams in football, but football really, they really harp on the division champion. Basketball, they haven't added teams in Like I don't know when the last time they added teams in basketball. I'm sure somebody older than me could tell me, yeah, well, they used to have 4 teams in the playoff. You know what I mean? But now they have 8 teams on each conference, Western and East. Each team, I mean, each West, get it together. 8 teams on each side,
Mhm.
16 teams in total, but they never talk about the division title. Hockey, I don't watch enough hockey, but I do know that they don't really talk about the division title. I've never heard it. And I don't know what their playoff system is like, but they have changed their point system to where, and for those that don't know, you win a game in hockey doesn't go by stand up by your record when it comes to your place in your standings. Hockey goes by points. So in hockey, if you win a game, you get 2 points. If you lose a game, you get 0 points. If you go into overtime, you get 1.
And I think if you win in overtime, then you get the two. I know they've been flip
You
flopping
get
back
the
on
extra
that.
point. Yeah, yeah, you're absolutely right. Each team gets 1 point for going into overtime, and then if you win in overtime, that one team that wins gets that extra point because you get 2 points for the win. And that's how they determine seedings for playoffs and stuff like that by points, which I guess they have to because you can end the game in a tie in hockey. You can't end the game in a tie in basketball and baseball, but you can end the game in a tie in football. But it's rare. Happens way more often in hockey than in football. Um, All right, let's get to the videos. We appreciate y'all for hanging with us as we ramble on. Darn, I didn't realize what time was. Okay. All right. So what do I need to do as far as this first video is concerned? What we got going on?
All right, I want you to guess what's about to happen. This is an independent wrestling thing, probably in somebody's garage, but something is about to happen that's going to cause this person to go back on the injury list. So I want you to guess what it is just based on the screen.
That person, the referee, it's like a referee.
So there's a referee in the stripes, and then there's a wrestler. The wrestler is coming to the ring. He's the one, the real pale guy in the center.
I say he hurts himself.
Okay,
that's my guess.
All right, you ready?
Yep. I was wrong. I was wrong. I wasn't expecting that at all.
Okay.
I was not expecting that at all. At least you know I wasn't cheating.
Right. No.
Wow. Okay.
All right. So based on this video, what do you think is about to happen next?
All right. I'm going to say he gets folded by the weight of whatever he's trying to squat. He kind of like folds somehow into the ground.
All right.
You really showing your ass. Wait, Tavius ass showman. University of Miami. Go Canes.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that either. First of all, was that real?
Yeah. You never done that before?
No. Split my basketball shorts squatting? No.
Yeah, but
never have I ever. No. You've split your basketball shorts squatting?
yes, but it was high school and it was a different time, different shorts, different material.
Okay. All right. Excuse me. Is this another guess? It's getting late.
No, we're just gonna go through this one.
So I saw that one before.
Okay.
I saw that one earlier this week or maybe last week or something. Yeah, and the best part of the video is Tony Yayo at the end with the face, because I did the same exact thing when I saw that. I did the same exact, and then Yayo came up and did that. Like, yo, you did the pump fake. You got two guys skying over you. You got the easy lay in, and you come on, man.
Yeah.
Come on. Don't get the hiccups. All right, we got another one, right?
Yes, sir. So this is a state championship game. Shaw is up by 1 against St. Charles. I can't remember the state. He's about to take a kneel down with 35 seconds left. Have you seen it?
No, but
What are you laughing at?
I'm just going to assume, right? You say you don't know the state, right? Just look at the picture.
Oh, okay. I just noticed the logo. My bad.
Oh, go ahead.
Sinola. But that doesn't mean it's probably Nola's. Okay. So Louisiana, NOLA, New Orleans at the Superdome. At the Superdome, damn, that makes this worse. So state championship in, in New Orleans. Shaw's up by 1, 35 seconds. All they have to do is take a knee and they win. But they're going to lose the game. And here is how.
In a season, much less one, right? He had his team ready to play tonight. He had his defense ready to play tonight.
Well, a Shaw player took off his helmet thinking that was the ball game. Touchdown of the season for St. Charles Catholic was done by Kriston McLean. They blocked it. And look at this. Look at this. St. Charles Catholic's got new life. Redemption on his mind. High snap. They get it down. It heads to the uprights. It is good. Oh, my goodness. From heartbreak to hero. He would have made that thing from 50 plus.
Yo, that kid can't go to school. Like he had to stay out of school that whole next week. He had to stay out of school that whole. I hope he lives in like a very forgiving neighborhood. So, damn. No, that deserves. That deserves that because
So for those that don't understand what has happened, okay, there's a very explicit rule, especially at the high school level, on the no circumstances do you take off your helmet before, during, between plays. Granted, in the excitement, okay, he took off his helmet, but the rule still stands. So they had to run another play because it stops the clock. Had the quarterback taken the ball and kneeled down, had he kept his helmet on, clock would have ran out. They'd be state champions.
I feel like, and I don't know, right? I feel like if this happened in Texas, he would have to move out the state, or he would have to move. He would have to move out of his neighborhood. Like I hope he lives in a very forgiving neighborhood that may not be into the sports at the high school in that neighborhood. Maybe they could care less. Maybe there's a lot of people in that neighborhood that did not attend that high school and everybody's like an implant or whatever they call them. And people could care less.
You are
I hope for his sake, he lives in a place like that. Because you had the win right there and everybody knows it was you. As a coach, because you're a coach, as a coach, you say, well, it shouldn't have had to come down to that. We should have had the game in hand, but we should have did things that there was mistakes made earlier in the game that it wouldn't have come down to that. Nah, man.
Damn that.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, kid. I'm sorry. We knelt. Is it knelt? Kneeled? We knelt. We downed the ball. we nailed it. Nailed it. Knelt. Y'all know what I'm trying to say. The clock would have ran. The clock would have ran. I'm reminded of real quick, and this is nowhere close to the caliber of the mistake this kid just made. And it was a mistake. I can remember going to a football game in high school, and my cousin was playing, and I think he got an interception, and it was against Academy Park. He got an interception, and he ran it in for a touchdown. Now he was like a linebacker or a lineman or something. I don't remember what he was, but he wasn't a D back or anything like that. I think he was a lineman. I think he was a D lineman. And he got an interception. He was linebacker. I think he was lineman. Anyway, I'm sorry. He got an interception. He ran it back for a touchdown. His first ever high school touchdown. He got excited. Everybody was happy, and he spiked the ball. And it got called back because he spiked the ball. Now, mind you, at that time, I think it was 97. Academy Park was the cream of the crop in our conference. So for that to happen, that was big. And then he spiked the ball, and Academy Park gets the ball. I think did they get the ball back, or did we still had? I think we still had the ball, but yeah. And he might be watching. I send him the link. I send him the link to the show every week, and he watches sometimes, so he knows I'm talking about him. Hey, I'm not even gonna put your name out there, but cause I'm talking about you. I'm not talking about you in a bad way. I'm just saying I remember it. That's all. I'm saying that mistakes happen in the heat of the excitement of the moment. Mistakes can happen, right? It's like the kid playing baseball that finally hit the ball and he throws the bat because he's so excited. He just
He's like,
slings.
bro, he's like, bro, can you move on?
I know, right? Right.
He's like, he's like, bro, we get it.
20 is 20 something years, 27 years later, and you still remember it. Yeah, cuz I do. It's all good. We wasn't supposed to win that game anyway. No worries. And that play didn't. But that play didn't make a difference. I think we got.
Everybody that you lost it, but we were supposed to win it anyway.
I'm gonna tell you something else about that game off air too. It's all off air. I don't want to talk about it on air. Okay, you're about to stump me. Now this is the portion of the show, y'all. Oh, let me put my theme music on. This is the portion of the show where Miguel has selected a player that has some type of tie to Philadelphia, whether it be football, basketball, baseball, hockey. And he gives me the jersey number that he wore throughout his career. Maybe some accolades that they might have. Sometimes they don't have any accolades. But when they don't have accolades, they might be. And then I'm supposed to guess who that person is. And how we came up with that is because I used to know jersey numbers very well growing up, and I think I just lost that knowledge as I gotten older. But here's what we have today. It is a baseball player, a 3-time All-Star. Looks like he took some Rolaids. Now you're going to have to explain what the Rolaids relief is, because I guess the relief pitcher of the year.
Yes. Yeah, Rolaids relief is like it is the best relief pitcher in baseball.
JC Romero.
No.
Yeah. All right. Well, what teams? Because I just threw that out there just in case. Is it Madsen?
No. I like what you did there, but no.
Yeah. So it looked like we got the Royals. Is that the Royals? Or
Yeah, both of those were Royals. Yes.
Okay. Never paid attention to the Royals, so that's no help. In Cleveland or Washington?
Hold on, because that one is.
Well, just go ahead. Give me the because it looked like Padres, White Sox.
All right. So we have the Royals. Come on. The Red Sox is that third one. Chicago Cubs. Houston Astros, Chicago White Sox, New York Yankees, and the Phillies, and the Arizona Diamondbacks.
Can you give me the time span of this person's career?
1988 until 2009.
Damn. I mean,
Damn.
That's the proper name.
that's the fun. 1990. I'm sorry, 1988 to 2009.
Correct.
Were they always a relief pitcher?
Nope.
Were they a relief pitcher with the Phillies?
Yes.
Were they a relief pitcher with the Yankees?
Yes.
Were they a relief? Who was after the Phillies? Was that the Nat? Who was that? The Red Sox? Again?
No, Arizona.
Was he a relief pitcher with Arizona?
Yes.
When he was not a relief pitcher, was he a closer or a starter?
Starter.
$45. Who wore number 45 for the Phillies as a relief pitcher? And was never a starter for the Phillies.
Never.
Was Ricky Bottalico a starter for the Phillies?
It's not Ricky Bottalico.
Okay. I always guess Ricky Bottalico at some point, don't I? I think we already had
Yes.
it.
Mm-hmm.
It's only because he's on the radio here, so
Right, you see him all the time.
Um,
So he also had a nickname.
what years did he play for the Phillies?
He actually played 2006 to 2008.
So he was on the World Series team?
He was, but he was not on the playoff roster.
Damn. All right, who were the relievers? You had J.C. Romero, you had Mark Madsen, you had Ryan Madsen. Excuse me. Mark Madsen was a basketball player. You had Brad Lidge. What was the team after the Phillies again? Oh, the Arizona Diamondbacks. He didn't go to the Diamondbacks after the Phillies.
Yes, he went. The Diamondbacks were his last team, but
Brad Lidge.
no, no.
He played for the Astros at one point, right?
Yes, and he gave up to this day, I think, the longest home run in baseball history. To
Oh.
Albert Pujols. That John's still going.
Mark Madsen, J.C. Romero.
Not Mark Madsen.
Ryan Madsen.
It's not Ryan Madsen either.
Ryan Madsen, J.C. Romero. Brad Lidge. Who was the long reliever for them? But he wasn't even on the playoff roster. Who's the long reliever for the Phillies that year? Oh, I'm blanking on that whole team. I used to know that whole team, man. Oh. What's his nickname? His nickname not Joe Table, is it?
No, sir.
All right, what's his nationality?
He is of. He's a Floridian.
What?
He is black.
Phillies had a black guy?
I knew you were gonna say that. I knew you were gonna say that.
A black relief pitcher. It's not Slocum. Heathcliff Slocum didn't last that long.
Heathcliff Slocum, if you got him.
Flash Gordon. Yes.
You got it.
I did not realize Flash Gordon was not on that playoff roster.
So here's
You
the
hurt?
funny thing. Yeah, he so when the Phillies got him in '06, he was the closer. He had 34 saves.
Yeah.
In '07, he started having arm troubles. He only played in 11 games. Hold up. I'm lying to you. Games. He played in 44 games in '07 and couldn't finish the season. And then in '08, he played in 34 games and couldn't finish the season because he had really bad arm trouble. And at that time, he was 40. So
You know what's bad about this right here? I was not remembering Flash Gordon. I thought about D Gordon at the time,
ah,
but I was thinking for that time frame, I was thinking Heathcliff Slocum, but knowing that Heathcliff Slocum was not on the World Series team or any team close to the World Series team, and I was just like, no, he wasn't playing then.
right.
So yeah, I had Heathcliff Slocum on the brain, probably because his name is Heathcliff. I had Heathcliff Slocum on the brain with this one, but I was like, nah. Flash Gordon, all
Flash
right,
Gordon.
yes, Flash
Got it.
Gordon. And his son is still playing in the league, correct? I believe his son is still in the league. I
Yeah,
think Deep is still in the league.
I believe you're correct.
I think he is. Any last words before we get out of here, Miguel?
Um,
We won't be around
Mahomes.
next week because next week is believe it'll be Christmas Eve on Wednesday.
Yeah, so we won't be back until the new year.
I'm hoping
Um,
you've been knocked by this time.
I'll be something.
Exactly.
No, just whether your year was rough, whether it was joyful, um, just be present and read the room. Love one another. Be encouraging to one another. Um, I think one thing that I've noticed is people react to this type of season in different ways. Sometimes, there's some people that are just inherently angry or just miserable and stuff like that. Don't take it personal. This time of year is rough for some. I reflect back to, this is the 2-year anniversary of the passing of my mother. So, I'm not sad per se, just, kind of look back and, think of the good memories. And I just think of this time of year. Huh?
Today is the day?
I believe it was this week. I want to say it was either yesterday or today or tomorrow. I want to say the 18th, give or take. When we had the service for her funeral. Um, so, people react differently to different things. Just, don't take it personal. Everybody reacts different to pain, reacts different to loss. Just be kind at the end of the day. Just be human, be kind, and if somebody's going through something, if they allow you to, give them a pat on the back, hug them, kiss them, lick them, whatever. And
There's only one person. Let me leave that alone. I'll leave that alone.
one person who you will allow to lick you. Is that what you were going to
That's not
say?
what I was going to say, but that's also true. But that's also true. Okay, also true. But that's not
So,
what I was going to say. But yeah,
right. So, Merry New Year to everybody. Merry New Year. Oh, Happy New Year.
Yeah, you made me feel like I have to say something prophetic now, but I don't have anything prepared. Um, but what I will say is, I have a new podcast out. It's called "Here's the Thing." It's not a live podcast. You can go check it out anytime you want. You can check it out on YouTube on the New Twist Radio YouTube channel. I'm talking about some practical things, giving you some advice and some things that you could probably use. I've had 2 episodes in, and I'm getting ready to record the next episode sometime this weekend. So first 2 episodes about dealing with the holidays and certain aspects of the holidays, and the next episode will probably be dealing with the new year and New Year's resolutions and stuff like that. It depends on what me and the producers, kind of come up with. So definitely, if you have a chance, check that out and send me some feedback. I really appreciate the feedback I've received from people so far. Keep it coming. Whether it's negative or positive, whatever the case may be, I promise my feelings won't be hurt. Well, no, I won't promise that, but I'll promise that I won't get mad at you for giving me your opinion. All right, and that's one thing I will end this with is don't get mad at people for giving their opinion. Their opinions are their opinions and theirs alone. All right, you don't have to accept the opinion. You don't have to agree with the opinion, but it is their opinion, and I'm gonna just leave it at that. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. I guess I didn't leave it at that. All right. we gonna get up out of here. Appreciate y'all hanging with us. Oh, and Goose, you're gonna have to I saw your comment about send me that. Let me know what you were what you're referring to. I kind of think it might be one of the videos that Miguel put up there. But we'll be off of this show probably by the time you hear this. So just shoot me a text and I'll let Miguel know which one you're talking about if you're talking about one of the videos. All right. With that being said, we're gonna get up out of here. We appreciate y'all hanging with us here on the Check Swing Podcast. We want to wish y'all happy holidays and New Year and all that good stuff. If you're celebrating, do so safely, do so intelligently, and December is one of the months where this time of year is like kind of one of the times of year where a lot of people end up in the emergency room because they're making decisions they don't make any other time of the year. They're drinking more, they're eating more, whatever the case may be. They're not sleeping as much. Pay attention to yourself. Pay attention to your body. Pay attention to those that care about you that are telling you the things that you might need to hear. With that being said, we're going to get up out of here. We appreciate y'all hanging with us here on the Check Swing Podcast with myself, and of course, the brains and brawn of the situation, my man Miguel down in
Baltimore, having big fun.
We'll talk to you in 2026, y'all. Peace.
Until we meet again.